So curious to see if we get a similar fast cycle versus medium-heavy situation today out of Lucas and Sub.
Yeah, Lucas is one of those players where if you don't have your coach in your ear and you don't have the ability to workshop decks with them, make sure that you're countering everything, he's just one of the scariest players in the world. He is so smart, so talented, and he's just played so many games that it feels like he's always ready to do one thing different than every other player. He's not going to go crazy off meta, but he will choose one different card that's going to flip a matchup that it shouldn't flip. And that's definitely one of the specialties of Lucas. And Lucas, wow, running E-Giant. This is pretty interesting.
This is kind of the opposite I was thinking, right? We have Sub going fast cycle with the Hog, and Lucas turning heavy, so both guys, especially Lucas, trying to subvert expectations. And speaking of expectations, everybody, on the left-hand side of your screen, rewards, watch them, and unlock special stuff. We're about halfway to our first reward drop of the day. So make sure you stick around to catch that one. And we'll have those throughout this Championship Sunday for the CALALAS Cup here in CRL.
Sub trying to figure out his next move, going to cycle the Firecracker in the back. Lucas, he should have the Evo Cage in cycle. So when we take a look at the matchup, the E-Giant probably should have the NATO as well. This is interesting. Okay, is it NATO Lightning? Is that what we're thinking coming in from Lucas right here?
Only time will tell as we get into our double elixir, and Brawler might get one, and does. 27-15 on the right-hand side. Lucas narrowing the gap as he has the 2-lane damage Hog into the left-hand side, Cage to cover. And that should, with the King Tower's help, yeah, it wasn't a perfect placement on the Cage, but activated King Tower cleans up the damage.
पहली बार तो यकीन नहीं हुआ सर कि अरे मैं तो पैसे जीत चुका हूँ गांव में पता चल गया धीरे-धीरे
Activated King Tower cleans up the damage.
And right there, Sub doing a beautiful job of protecting his Firecracker. The Hog will not make it to the Crown Tower because it is going to activate the King with the NATO coming in from Lucas. But I mean, Sub's defense on that Firecracker, and then it's still plugging and chugging away. That was absolute perfection from him, and a well-deserved shot on top of the tower.
And that's now the most significant damage of the round, 25-52 plus a little chip on the Golden Knight. Barb Barrel to target the Firecracker. Hog goes left-hand lane for Sub as he plays defense on the right-hand side. Cage, Evo to pick up and handle the Hog Rider. And the NATO pulls everything into the E-Giant, but not going to be enough to create a breakthrough. And Josh, now NATO out of cycle, no Cage. Hog going to get some big-time shots here. What does Lucas need to do to actually break through here and create some real damage on tower?
Yeah, the cannons coming in from Sub, it just feels like he's not really finding it difficult. A lot of the times, even when you see these easy wins, they're still making all sorts of plays. Sub, he's just kind of doing the same thing, and that's all that needs to happen. Lucas, I believe he just needs to kind of wait for triple elixir or wait for a mistake. And right there, the E-Giant making it to tower, getting it down to 21-19, almost evening it up. But now no NATO in cycle. This could be a pretty big push coming in right here.
EQ gonna help with that Cage. Hog gonna get 2 shots here down to 10:45. So just as Lucas sees some light at the end of the tunnel, the rocks start to fall from the walls with triple elixir against Q Cycle.
Yeah, Lucas just really struggling, trying to figure out how in the world he can just do anything. And so far, not coming to any sort of conclusion. We're going to see a NATO in, but these Firecrackers are still just staying alive. This is way too easy for them.
Evo Inferno in the back. Cage trying to hold. EQ getting the Hog through. 2:31 remaining, and now Lucas is trying to find some way to sell out at the bridge. Golden Knight gets some connections. 11 seconds left. No way to break through. EQ will just make sure the gap is enough. Log to clear, and Sub going to take game number 1 as the script is flipped from last year's World Finals, Sub going fast cycle. Lucas, the one cutting caught flat-footed with the beatdown deck.
Yeah, both players absolutely locked in. No celebration on either of their faces. They know how close they are in talent. Right there, I think we can just chalk it up to just a very poor matchup. Sub is way too talented with Hog to allow Lucas to do anything. And Lucas, on the other hand, while it was a bad matchup, I would have liked to see the NATOs be a little bit stronger. It was like 2, 3, maybe even 4 times where he NATO'd everything in, but when he NATO'd in the firecrackers, they're still going to shoot their way outside of the range. I would have liked to see something different, even if it's just cycling lightnings. There needed to be something different.
Well, unable to make anything different happen. And, you know, we were looking at the defense there, and you were talking about the NATO. The problem in this matchup, it felt like for Lucas, was he had 2 good alternatives for defending against the Hogs with the Cage and the NATO, but with no ability to break through, he had to use the NATO offensively, and then that left him, as we saw, with a whole lot of openings for Sub to just go, well, you used it, and now you just have a Cage, and I have an Earthquake and a bunch more stuff to come and run downhill on you. And as you mentioned, of course, the Firecrackers able to pretty much camp on Sub's side of the board and turn it into a party rather than a solo job. Now we go into game number 2, and, you know, of course, Sub has the game advantage right now, Josh. But thinking about what was played so far, it does in many ways feel like Sub now has the card advantage going forward too, right? On his side, yes, he used Log, but has plenty of fine other options. Earthquake, you're not really concerned about using that elsewhere. Whereas Lucas, some kind of critical defensive pieces in particular, the NATO gone, and it feels like it's going to be a bit harder for Lucas to get the read on Sub, whereas Sub might be able to get a better read on what to do in game 2 and beyond.
Yeah, that's why Hog EQ is just so strong in the dual format, because so many of the cards, I mean, the Log, yes, the E-Spirit, maybe, but you're not using those cards in a lot of your decks. And if you are, you can easily find some sort of variation. We saw the guards get used in the drill deck from our previous set, but you can just swap it from gobs like we saw in Sandbox. So yeah, Sub 1-0 and just has everything available to him. And there we go. We might see the drill goblins variation that Sandbox used. We will be seeing this shortly.
Berserker comes out to get the cleanup. First little chip damage in both directions. 27-32 to 29-98. Goblinstein out here for Lucas.
Fire Spirit getting the jump on top of the tower and the Doctor. And right here, Goblin Demolisher not able to make it all the way. Sub using a classic drill. Lucas having some fun with it and using the Goblinstein drill. I don't really see this deck all that often. I've seen a few of them with the Goblin Hut, so I wouldn't be shocked if we see that. We'll still have to wait on the last 2 cards.
Things slowing down a bit after the opening salvos, although now Lucas maybe heard me and decided to go full send. You're going to get a little bit out of that one as some of the goblins get on tower, and a little bit turns into a lot. Lucas opens up the lead by over 500.
Goblin Hut on defense, going to be able to take out the Demolisher and chip away at the Knight. Still going to need 1 or 2 more cards coming in from Lucas. And the Bomber, will it be enough? It's going to take it out, but the Knight is going to be able to get 1 shot.
Goblinstein out one more time for Lucas. And that, Josh, kind of just felt like I would like you to play some cards, please.
Yeah, just trying to get a cycle right, trying to get the Evos in. And right here, I mean, the Berserker, as great a card as it is. Oh, and right there, very nice interaction. The Evo Snowball with the Evo Bomber. Gorgeous gameplay from Lucas.
What a connection. What an absolute connection, right? For a moment there, I was looking at the Evo Snowball at the bridge and going, why is he sending all the troops right back to his drill? And Lucas just showing off some of the brilliance and thought process and turning that into a massive connection, and suddenly this game is completely turned upside down.
Yeah.
They're coming straight in. Trust me, I've got enough.
Yeah. That was absolutely the play of the day so far. I've seen that interaction, I'm sure, somewhere, but to be able to pull it off at the live stage, at the big stage, that was incredible.
Snowball in, and now with sudden death Only 409 on the right-hand side. The formula is written. Lucas just has to defend and slowly chip away here and not make any major mistakes.
Right there, quite a bit of chip damage coming in from that drill. The drill for Lucas, not going to be able to put in that much work, but still has an absolutely massive advantage. And Evo Bomber should be close to getting in the cycle. Might not matter getting it down to 24 HP. Yep.
And GG, Evo Snowball getting its flowers on this one, as gets both the winning blow and the shot that changed the
Mortar deck, and then Lucas on the other side. Could be RG, but RG stand it somewhat, but it just feels easier to build your deck with champions.
And now, to be fair, it does feel like in this best of 5 era, seeing a championless deck coming out in maybe game 2 or game 3, preserving some options, trying to steal a win, and then maybe be a little bit less predictable in oncoming game 4 and game 5. Because again, those game 4s and game 5s, now you're talking about being down 24 cards, being down 32 cards in game 5, right? Things really change there, but that's kind of why I said best of 3 in particular. Seems
yeah.
Seems like it's less valuable there. Either way, that's the past. Let's move on to the future. Game number 3. Loser will drop down into the elimination bracket. And Lucas coming out with some quick cycle.
Sub going to be running what's probably going to be the Mortar Bar Barrel. Oh, okay. So, yeah, Sub going to be running the Ice Wizard Skeleton King Mortar deck. And then Lucas on the other side. Could be RG, but RG with Tesla seems kind of odd. Still kind of just waiting to see what his final couple cards are.
Mortar not going to connect. Well distracted. And Sub trying to keep pressure on. And he'll get 2 spears for his effort, plus more pressure coming in. And Hog for distraction.
So Hog Wizard instead of Hog Firecracker. I mean, Lucas had the opportunity to run the Firecracker, run the Cannon, run the Log. Instead electing to go with the Evo Wizard. Pretty interesting decision coming in from Lucas.
You know, when you think about this Evo Wizard, though, you have the ability to contend with a Skeleton Barrel. There is lots of splashy stuff, or lots of swarmy stuff on the board. And then now we get some protection with the Monk right in front. Evo Wizard creating a problem here.
Yeah, this is an absolute massive push coming in from Lucas, the Monk, doing a beautiful job of protection and getting the tower down to 680. Sub, I mean, the thing is, Lucas still has the Hog EQ going against a Mortar deck that doesn't really cycle all that well. This is Lucas just in a beautiful spot right now.
Mortar up high, pressure now moving on the side of Sub, trying to play the catch-up game, getting some damage in. 1773 on the right-hand tower. Cannoneer just taking its time, and these Hogs have been getting kind of some at-will shots.
Yeah, and that is one of the strongest pushes I've ever seen for being as clunky as it was. The Wizard plus the Skeletons, put the Skeletons in front, so that way the Cannoneers locked onto the wrong thing. Monk again getting a beautiful, just a beautiful situation for it. Lucas putting on a clinic, no mistakes right now.
Earthquake cycles to the left-hand lane. This is kind of the last chance for Sub. Not facing elimination yet, but of course you want to play from the upper bracket as long as you can. Sub now with the Log out, Earthquake to cover, but that's going to be some good damage. Skeleton King still going. 1591 Mortar at the bridge. Will it get a connection? Yes, it will. Lucas has to be careful not making any major errors here. Evo Tesla to cover. And that should be enough to get things done. Log will go ahead behind, and Sub knows he gave himself a shot at the end, but not quite enough. Lucas going to continue on in our upper bracket, and now going to be very, very close to that winner's circle.
Yeah, I mean, we see a very nice reverse sweep. I believe the first one of the day. And Lucas, I mean, game 2, absolute perfection with the Evo Snowball. Game 3, absolute perfection with the